The more a girl says she is a 10, the more psychopathic and insecure she is, unfortunately. Do you guys want to respond? All the 10s at the table want
I
to
feel
respond
like
to
no
Hugo?
matter what number we say, that's going to be their response.
Facts.
Yeah.
Some people.
I don't know. If you're like, yeah, I'm like a 7, I feel like most guys aren't going to.
That's because that's what they think of themselves. They're a 7.
That's
so they're
true.
butthurt.
He's insecure.
Projecting.
Wait, can I ask you a
Right.
question? Let me
Ask
ask you.
me.
So, have you ever seen a guy who's looks mid?
All the time.
All the time, yeah. And so, like, but you're able to make determinations when it comes to male attractiveness, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, let's say you met a guy who you weren't physically attracted to, but then he said, well, I'm a 10. Would you then be attracted to him?
I would respect him for his confidence.
So would you then be attracted to him? Like, you're not physically attracted to this guy at all, but then he opens his mouth and he's like, well, I'm a 10. And he says that shit with like some serious confidence and he believes it too. Are you all of a sudden attracted to him or no?
I feel like if his actions also prove that he's a 10, yeah, I could get some attraction, grow some attraction towards that.
Interesting. Okay. Oh, we have 2 pictures. Damien, there's the Leonardo DiCaprio one and with the other guy. It's like...
He's fine.
If
Or
you're
he
able-
was. I don't know about now.
Yo, Hugo, thank you for the... what currency is this, Hugo? Is it Brazilian real? Is it... Wait, hold
You
on.
giving Bitcoin or some shit.
What is that? R?
Not Russian, or
Except what?
It's...
she is unable to accept.
I think it's Brazilian real. Or no, but typically... Yeah, it is Brazilian real. It's the... What is that, like $3? Hold on. 100 to USD. Are you abusing my friend? Do you have it?
Yeah.
All right, you can go ahead and pull it up. I'm just curious. Which one is more physically attractive?
Leo.
Leo
I love
or
Leonardo DiCaprio.
or Jonah? Is that his name?
Leo.
Jonah Wilson, right?
Leo.
Jonah Hill?
Jonah Hill. Yeah.
Leo?
Yeah, Leo.
Leonardo.
Leo.
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 Okay, and I think you need to go back for the other picture. I think it's one back. Which one's more attractive? The girl on the left or the girl on the right?
Probably everyone will think the...
What do you think?
Okay, the one on the left.
Okay.
Just because her outfit. I like
What about you? Oh, wait. Just because her outfit.
Yeah.
That's fair. Picture him naked and then tell us.
I don't
Where did
like
y'all
this.
find this
I don't
picture?
like this comparison.
Yeah, this is like the
this
worst
doesn't seem
looking
very fair.
black person I've ever seen in my life.
You can't
What
see
makes you
her
tell the
features.
truth?
You can't really
This is a
see
bad photo.
Yeah.
The lighting is
face.
off.
She looks crazy.
Hold on. Which one's more attractive?
The left.
Okay.
I think anyone who wouldn't say the person on the left would be a liar.
I mean, I kind of want to decline to answer because I can't see like that.
Right, we can't even really see her.
What?
too.
Really?
Them.
Really?
Their face.
Yeah,
I could.
And that
Maybe
was
she's just
some
really
overt
dark.
Racism right there. Can't really even see. Okay. All right.
So you can't pick one?
I feel like this isn't a fair comparison.
What do you mean? How's it not a fair comparison?
Like there's like dark shadows. We can't really see
They're
her
two
face.
different types of women in size, in style, and how they're dressing.
Yeah, that's the nature of comparisons. You're comparing
But I mean,
two
the
people
compare
who look differently.
you did prior were two white males who were in the same age range.
Right,
They
that's
look
true.
both aged differently, come from two different backgrounds as well.
Dressed similarly.
Like they not comparable at all.
What
The
in the
other
world
two
does
were
that
in
have
the
to do
same place.
with anything?
Because I
Like,
feel
what
like
does that have to do with anything? The comparison is just asking which one's more attractive. Has nothing to do with anything else. Just the question is, which one of these women is more conventionally
decline
attractive
to
from your
answer.
view? That's all that's asking.
We know
I
the
declined
question.
to answer because my.
Oh, do you know the question?
Wait.
Because it seems like you don't know the question.
Wait.
You're
The question
asking
is a
which
setup. The
everything
question is a
except
setup.
asking
Which one's
which
actually
one
more
is
The question is
more-
a setup.
How's it the
In my
setup?
opinion,
Because you're gonna pick the worst picture of a very dark skinned woman and
It has
put
nothing to
her
do.
next
Hold
to
on.
put her next.
You want me to find a white woman?
Yeah,
I can.
yeah,
Yeah,
do two
okay,
white
do
girls.
that.
Yeah, do that.
Two white women.
Do that. Make it more
I didn't
fair.
think
Or
about
even-
race. It has nothing to do with race.
We
I can find unattractive white women too.
Okay, fine.
Alright, do that.
Two
actresses that
that are in the same
It's just when
place,
you compare
dressed
that
within
picture
the
to the
same
previous
style.
one, it's just two different comparisons.
Yeah.
It's like Jonah Hill and Homie, they don't look alike, but they're
in the
similar
same
in class,
setting.
they're similar in earnings.
I don't know. That
the second
sounds
picture
racist
like
to me.
a homeless
that
person.
sounds racist to me. The option of just asking which one of these women is more conventionally attractive from your view,
Y'all know
I don't
this is
understand what that has to do with race, except that you want to see race in it.
Right.
There's
I
other
agree.
factors outside of race with the same thing stating that the two men were in the same area. They're both, same age range. They're dressed the same. They're coming to the same style for a
They're both
reason.
celebrities.
The other two women looked like they were dressed differently, supposed to be in two different places. Maybe,
Facts.
one was like a
I
fan.
don't
one was
understand
more
what any of
known.
this has to do with the question of which one do you find more conventionally attractive.
Well, my
Because the
answer to
question
that
is a
was
setup.
denied. Yeah.
What's the
Literally,
setup?
What's the setup?
To get us to call the girl ugly.
No, that's not what was asked. Did anybody say you had to call anybody ugly?
Yeah, you don't have to call anybody ugly.
Saying they're less conventionally attractive is calling them ugly.
Okay, but why were you guys so
Well,
quick
wait,
to do it?
It is? So okay, so you could never say that one woman was more attractive than another because you'd be calling the one woman ugly, not just
Yes.
saying the one was more attractive.
We don't want to say she's ugly.
Nobody asked you to say that she's ugly. Who asked you to say she's ugly?
You guys did. When y'all asked that question, y'all said who is less conventionally attractive. That means who is uglier.
Yeah, it's asking which one's
Right.
more attractive. So you
Right.
could have two really good-looking people. One could be more attractive than the other, right?
Yes, most definitely.
Okay, well then if that's the case, then the logic wouldn't follow that because you say one's more conventionally attractive than the other, you're calling the other one ugly. That would make no sense. That doesn't
I think it makes a
track.
lot of sense in my head.
I think what they're trying to
in
express.
the realm of has no logic, I guess, but it makes no
My
sense.
brain
You
has a
could
lot
say
of
there's two
logic.
good-looking people. You find one more attractive than the other. That's not calling the other good-looking person ugly.
I think based on the history of racial comparison in this country, that
And-
the average person who, can take that as racist because you got the most ugliest, non-attractive black woman who's out of shape, that fits a lot of stereotypes of being out of shape, overweight, compared to, I'm just telling you how people think. You don't have to like it, but this is America. So when you do that, after you take Jonah Hill and Leonardo DiCaprio, and then you take this real homely looking, overweight, typical looking, underprivileged black woman next to this pristine, slim white woman, the average person could see
It's
some
a
type
setup.
of, Everybody not gonna take it as cut and dry like
I mean,
y'all.
by
And
the
you
way-
can't act like you can't understand why somebody would say
By
that.
the way, she's Australian Aboriginal.
I have no idea what it has to do with race. You're just asking which one's more conventionally
All right.
attractive.
That's they're in Australia.
I'm not saying it
See,
does, but
yeah,
I can see how somebody
yeah,
could take it that
everybody-
way. But you can see how somebody could take it that
There's
way.
plenty of people that's gonna watch this back and take
you
it that
can-
way.
People can take
Okay, they
all
can
sorts
take it
of
how they
bizarre
want.
things
And
in
that's how
any
I'm
way
taking
they
it too.
want, but
So,
it has nothing to
that's
do
why
with
I
what's
don't wanna
actually being
answer.
asked.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with race.
Right.
So
You're-
then find a photo of what you said you were going to find.
Yeah, but
it
then
has
if we
nothing
do
to-
that, you're making it about race.
No, you just said.
Yeah, you guys are making it about
were
race.
able to
Yeah,
do
if you tell Brian that you'll only rate if it's two white women, you're actually making it about race, not Brian.
Why shouldn't we?
Maybe
make it
if she
about
wasn't
race?
so far ununattractive.
Well,
It
wait, if
doesn't
you
have to
shouldn't,
do with
if
it.
I'm just
ask
telling you
the
how
question,
people could
why
perceive
shouldn't we
it.
make
I'm not
it
saying
about
you
race?
right or they wrong, or it's just perception.
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah, but if you say why shouldn't we make it about race, that's fair. But then you could never criticize Brian if you thought he was making it about race, right?
I didn't think it was only about race. I also thought it was about body size as well. So
Isn't that a component
Yeah.
of physical
Yeah, that would be a
attractiveness?
comparison of physical attractiveness, I would think.
I mean, Jonah Hill is chubbier than Leonardo DiCaprio.
But what my thing is, Jonah Hill, some people find Jonah Hill attractive outside of us. I feel like you picked a picture of somebody that most people will probably never find attractive. And
Oh, so just to be clear, so it's easier for you to make a determination when it comes to Jonah Hill, where there's less of a discrepancy in physical appearance
Yes.
between him and Leonardo DiCaprio. But when it's evidently clear that the woman on the right is clearly less attractive than the woman on the left, then you can't make the determination?
Yes, because it's more
And the
unfair.
affirmative statement, how's it
Yes.
unfair? It's
we just explained it. We just explained it back to back to back. Why it's unfair, why it's a setup, and why we don't want to answer that question.
Or could it
Yeah, but I
actually...
don't actually understand the explanation.
Of course you don't.
Can you break
Or-
it down for me again?
No.
No.
Or then is it just actually essentially a capitulation that you guys are actually sexist then?
No.
Oh, so it's
No, I think
easier
it was
for you
just
guys to judge
deny.
men, but when it comes to appraisals of women's looks, then there's a bigger issue.
No, well, you basically compared two famous actors.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because people are going to find them attractive no matter what.
For reasons Besides looks?
Yeah, they got money. They're both rich. So
Yeah, it was
I
about
know
looks.
some girls who would say Jonah Hill was more attractive.
attractive man at all. Jonah Hill is not
He's
conventionally
economically
But there's
attractive.
some women out there that will go for Jonah Hill.
Over
For sure.
Leonardo
You're saying that
DiCaprio?
there's
I'm
nobody
sure.
who will go for this woman?
Here,
That's
how about
ridiculous.
let's go around the table. Actually, we already did. All of you said Leonardo
But
DiCaprio is
we're
more
only
attractive.
this one group of women. We don't represent all
Okay,
women out in the world.
What? You think it's 99% of women pick Leonardo over Jonah Hill?
99? No,
99.
I would say
What do you
like
think?
I think it would be 80% Leonardo,
Really?
20%
So
Jonah Hill.
1 out of 5 women picks Jonah Hill over Leonardo DiCaprio.
I think so. Yes.
Jonah Hill still has something to gain attraction outside of his looks.
Exactly.
That
He's
woman don't
funny
have nothing
and he
besides
has
her
money.
looks.
Coke.
Well, I don't know how much she makes, but she don't look like besides looks. I don't think she can get anybody.
There's a lot of cope happening right now.
Yeah, there seems to. I don't really understand. There's no. If you're going to make a comparison on just conventional looks, then the idea that it needs to have some type of racial stereotype to it is bizarre to me. It doesn't even make any sense. That seems like it's some sort of bizarre internal projection or something like this. It has nothing to do with comparing the attractiveness level of two people. Regardless of who Brian put up, whatever two human beings he put up, you should be able to make a determination on conventional attractiveness. I don't understand why the race would have anything to do with anything.
But it's not just the race card. As we brought up earlier, you put up 2 men within the same, how would you say,
Like
standard.
status.
Yeah, that
Status.
look, status, standard that look
Nope.
the same too. Like the 2 women you put up were very different in
I don't
other
understand. You
aspects
can't
outside
tell.
of
Okay,
race.
so then let's do this. I'm in no way have the same status as Jonah Hill.
All right,
Couldn't
here.
you make a comparison
Not even
between
just
me?
status.
Hang on. Couldn't you make a comparison right now between myself and Leonardo DiCaprio and say which one's more attractive? And it would be Leonardo DiCaprio, right?
I mean, but your wife
What would your
say
wife
you.
Yeah, see, so you
Yeah,
bring,
your
so
wife
it
would
is
say
a racial
you.
component. The whole idea here is for you, for some
Where'd the race
reason,
come from?
the race makes some difference in
we
the
said, what would your
conventional
wife
level.
think?
said
Would your wife think that Leonardo
about
DiCaprio
race.
is more attractive than you?
Possibly. And the thing is, though, is like, why would that even be improper to make that assessment? Do you think that people don't have eyeballs, or that they can't be honest?
No, but
about
wouldn't
what
you
is
want your
true
wife to
because
think that you're
they
the
don't-
most
They
attractive
don't want to risk
man?
offense. Like that seems silly to me.
Wouldn't you want your wife to think you're the most attractive man?
You know,
That's not
the
realistic,
thing
though.
is like, don't you want to also live in reality? Like, do you think I want my wife to lie to me? Do you think that I can't clearly see that there's more attractive men than me conventionally, and that I would know that since she has eyeballs, she would also understand that? And it's like, why do you think it would be some sort of great grace to me if she lied to me? In fact, in many ways, that would be detrimental. You know what I mean? Now, is there good etiquette in not like drooling over other people when you're with your spouse? Well, of course, right? Of course, that's good etiquette. But it has nothing to do with the idea that you can't objectively assess a beauty standard of another human being. That doesn't mean you're going to go have sex with them or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
So I don't really understand. I don't really understand on this. You're just asking about the conventional attractiveness. I don't even see why the racial component matters.
How about we compare 2 girls that look a little more similar?
I'm trying to find one, honestly, but it's although that wouldn't that just be kind of like giving into the race thing? I guess
No,
I don't
it
know.
would be putting it on an even playing field like the Jonah.
I mean,
Hill
I'm
and
literally
Leonardo
trying to
DiCaprio.
scroll. I'm trying to find like, okay, it has to be in the same like.
Or
Okay, so I was
flip it.
trying to
Give me
find
2
like
different kind of
Grammy,
men.
2 women
A skinny
at the
guy
Grammys.
and a
Here,
really
I have another
buff
one that
guy.
I don't think you guys are gonna enjoy. I guess, but Damien decided to. I kind of think the girl in the middle. Not gonna lie, like the girl in the middle.
I love
is-
SZA.
I love SZA. Yeah.
Jersey in the
But I
building.
love.
You know, maybe.
I think this is perfect. Can't argue
Is
this.
this good?
Yeah,
I don't know.
this
Is
is
this okay? I
This
don't
is
know.
better. This is better. I'm gonna pick SZA.
Also, too, just the same thing with the men. Like, I know these are celebrities, so I have a background
I mean, I would
behind
vote
them
Taylor
already. That I feel some type of way about them, or I have an opinion based on them already, opposed to the other 2 women that I didn't know at all. You know, and then Jonah Hill and Leonardo DiCaprio, I've known they're actors, they're
So
famous.
face-wise, who's the best?
SZA.
Face.
I feel like
Face card only.
Taylor's
SZA
head.
does have a lot.
In
of
this
Taylor's
picture,
face.
She had a lot of
Lizzo's face
surgery.
is nice.
Taylor's head is kind of turned to the side.
Yeah, and SZA isn't in the best position.
So we're just going off face.
Lizzo got a pretty face. You just got to look
Lizzo
at
does have a
Yes.
pretty
She has a
face.
pretty face.
Look at that smile.
Oh boy.
Too much eyeshadow though. You know, I'm not a fan of the shape, but she ain't ugly in the face.
She's lost a lot more weight now too.
Long way to
I
go.
think they're gorgeous.
All
think
right.
Taylor was dressed the best, though. I give her the best dress.
We couldn't even see her
Taylor
outfit.
also has the most money. So,
white.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
I thought you guys don't care about that.
I don't.
I thought men
Yeah.
don't care about
I don't.
success.
She got you.
Billionaires get a pass.
Right.
Billionaires get a pass. All right. Techno Trooper, we have him coming in. Anissa, can you read it?
How do dating apps reinforce a culture where 10% of men receive the majority of attention, leaving the rest feeling excluded or undervalued?
Reinforce a culture where 10% of men receive the majority of attention. How do dating apps reinforce a culture of that? I mean,
I'm confused.
it's always been the case that like the hypergamous nature of women, right? But like it's been it's much more pronounced because of the global sexual marketplace with social media, Instagram, and dating apps, where if you were limited to your geographic region, like people would typically pair off 1-to-1, but now women have access to like average woman in Idaho can hop on a dating app or Instagram and get, maybe not average, but if she's like really good looking in Idaho, she can get flown out to LA, Miami, Vegas for some dude out there. So totally changes it. Yeah. Techno Trooper, I do appreciate the message though. We have Hugo here, Cope. And he says they need to find a way to excuse it's just Beauty G's bringing to race is being racist. Yo, Hugo, thank you for the super chats. Do appreciate it. We need to get into the pre-show notes here, move things along a little bit. We have, we talked about the Luigi shit. We have Ninzi. That's you, right?
Hi.
In your Instagram bio, it says there's there's a flower emoji and then like a fart cloud or a cloud of
Smoke.
smoke.
Flowers do.
Oh,
Flower and female advocate.
and you're a female advocate. What is that? What is a female advocate?
So I stand for like women's rights
Okay,
and
sure.
passing cannabis and its healing benefits. So
No, so ignoring the flower part. I'm just the
So
female.
you just want to talk about the female
the
part?
female advocate part. What do you mean?
Like speaking, so I started like a blog that teaches women like safety aspects and things to look for to protect themselves, or certain like stigmas too that are becoming a norm, that women feel they're supposed to be subjectified or like looked at, perceived this way, or
What ways?
Yeah.
and like I don't know, like being taught like certain things happen to you are okay and it might not be, like being talked down to or things like
But
that.
who thinks talking down to women is okay?
A lot of people
lot of
do
men.
in the
A lot of people
South.
do.
And coming
For
from
no
like an
reason?
Asian culture too, like
Some men
women
just
were
hate women.
put down. Yeah, women were put down, and like if you have more than 2 daughters, like one of them gets killed because they want to keep the ratio
What?
of women down. Yeah, it's
Let's talk
Like
about
in
today, though.
China for
yeah.
Like, who does that today?
In Asian culture, yeah, growing
Yeah,
up
that's
in an Asian
true.
household.
She's right. It's 100% true. In China, in the one-child policy, they favored men. Right?
Crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I know men still talk down upon girls, because I was talking to a guy once and he was just like coming to the conclusion that all girls are broke and all girls are stupid.
I mean, a lot of women think all men need to do better, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's just a people thing. I don't think it's a female-male thing. I think a lot of women say every day how you have women saying, you can't take me to Cheesecake fucking Factory. You know what I'm saying? So women talk down to men a lot. So I don't think that's just something that happens to women. I think more women are talking down to men than it is men talking down to women. I think the men that are talking down is in response to years of being talked down by the women in society.
I think it's the other way around. I feel like women are finally now, after being talked down for so long, are now like, because women's rights and everything, that's been a new thing from like the 1900s that we're like brought into, and we're still fighting for a lot of our rights.
Which rights are those?
Here we go.
Our right to vote
Abortion
started. We didn't get
Wait, hold
our
on.
abortion
Hold on.
rights.
No. Hold on. Let's do one at a time. Okay. Right to vote. Women
That was-
secured the right to the vote in the 1920s. That's over a century ago.
I know, but how long have we as humans been alive and women weren't allowed to
How
vote?
long have men been allowed to vote? Why don't you tell me
Well,
what that is?
Since they started it, I believe.
Since they
No.
started.
Since the voting.
Men were only given the right to vote
So
about 20 years before women.
as men or women, who started the right to vote? Who decided, okay, voting is going to be a thing?
People in power.
Well, initially,
People in power
the-
who were
I'll explain it to you.
You didn't think they were queens?
So initially, the way that the nation was set up as a republic was not that people were supposed to be voting at all, right? So that wasn't how it was set up. There was no universal suffrage. Men only got the right to vote about 20 years before women, roughly. And that was only in some select places. So it was never universalized to men or women. So the idea that women have been conventionally oppressed over men is silly. The nation wasn't set up that way. It was set up instead where your officials would actually do the voting. That was the way it was supposed to be set.
But they are all men.
Yeah, at that time, who were allowed to be selected officials?
White men
Yeah,
at that.
well, hang on. You say men, but you're actually incorrect there too. It couldn't be any man. It would have to be a select. So in this case, usually it was people who were stakeholders. They were landholders or this type of thing. They had to have select
Power,
characteristics. So it wasn't just men. When you say men, you put them in a monolith. Almost no man has ever had power in history. Almost none. Almost zero.
A lot of men.
It's a small group of men. I mean, as compared to males, but most men don't have power. It's just that the seat of power is often sat by a man, but that doesn't mean that's the majority.
We have a chart here, actually, if you can go ahead and pull that up. So this is countries with universal right to vote. This does not consider elections not being held, informal restrictions or legal restrictions based on age, criminal conviction, disability, and local residency. So at the bottom there, you have the year, and they're tracking this back to the late 1700s. Brown indicates no universal right to vote. Light blue indicates universal right to vote for men only. And the blue is universal right to vote for men and women. There's a very, very short period of time in history where only men had the right to vote. For the vast majority of history, when we're talking about the general populace, men did not have the right to vote.
And one thing...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Essentially none. The
isn't that a
idea of the
50-year
elongated
gap, though?
female oppression Olympics is nonsense.
A 50-year gap?
Yeah, can
On
I see
that
the
chart?
chart again?
Sure.
Because he
And I have
said it's
another one,
only
too.
been 20 or 30 years, but
That's like.
that,
Well, it depends on
It's
the
for the
country.
world.
It
He's talking
depends
about
on the
America.
country.
No.
I
He
have
said
another.
20 to 50 years, 20 to 30 years between men and women.
In America.
Yeah, in the United States. that's
Oh, this
correct.
is universal. Okay.
But one thing I've noticed with women is like, y'all will talk about the right to do something, but you're not thorough with that right. For example, right? It seems like women just want to participate just to say that we can do it too. But when it comes to exercising the thoroughness of that right, they don't do it. So in other words, when you ask a man why he voted for something, he'll break down legislation, he'll break down policy. When you ask a woman why did she vote, it's for something very superficial. So a lot of women seem like they fight for certain rights, but just to say they have them, not actually being an active participant in the thoroughness of the responsibility. It's like they just want a participation trophy just to say. It's like when you got a kid that just want to play with you. You give your kid, so you want a cell phone, so you give them a cell phone with no battery just so they can feel like they're on the phone, but they really ain't talking or calling nobody.
It's like advocating, and I don't think there's anything wrong with women.
I'm talking
advocating
about
for other
voting.
women.
Like
I know.
voting.
And
Like
you
most
can-
women,
you can
when they
advocate
vote,
for
they don't
abortion
never know
rights,
why
but
they
you don't want an
voted.
abortion.
But I think there's a lot of people, a lot of America and a lot of the world isn't educated to
Exactly.
know wholly what they're.
No, you're right, but that seems like more men are, because and it seems like when men are speaking about voting, they're speaking about something that benefits the many. It seems like women get involved in voting strictly for the benefits of women only. So to me, if you're getting into these positions just to focus on one gender, that's not even a leadership attribute, because a leader looks after the whole. It seems like when women get power, they look after women. And I think that's probably why they was prohibited from a lot of things, because y'all just see your side and your gender. You don't look at the group. Like even for example, right? I don't mean to talk too much, but there was Ice Cube was on a show called Cocktails with the Queens. It was Vivica Fox. There was I think Selena Johnson, Lisa Ray, and like another woman. So this was around the time when Biden and Trump was going at it a couple years ago. So Ice Cube was contacted by two political parties. He said the Democrats contacted me because Ice Cube made a plan called the Plan for Black America. So he said, the Democrats said, we'll help you with your plan after we get in office. He said Trump and the Republicans reached out to him and said, hey, we want to implement your plan now. So when he was speaking this to black women, he was saying, hey, this is a plan for black people, and black people includes black men, black women, black boys, black girls. But the black women on the show said, hey, that sounds good, but what's in it for us? So the fact that a man is saying, I'm getting legislation pushed for black people, and women heard that and still distinguished themselves from the group to focus solely on themselves, to me speaks to a pathology where women, when they get a taste of power, they're not thinking about the many, they're just thinking about themselves.
Yeah, because we live in a patriarchal society where we're already way more oppressed than men.
How you oppressed? You're able to do whatever the hell you want to do.
We got to take one thing at a time. Let's bring it back. We'll get into the patriarchy. We'll get into the oppression. You said that you're in the female advocacy. So you said women's right to, or I'm trying to remember the.
We started with the right to vote, and then now coming on, right?
But
you spoke on education.
Okay. Oh, education. So do you realize that, like, when it comes to college education, there's, like, I think the breakdown is 60% women, 40% men. So is this evidence of oppression towards men?
No, this is a now thing. These are things.
No,
that
it's
just
been
started
since
happening.
the 1980s.
But prior to that,
Women have surpassed men when it comes to.
Because you gave us the opportunity, we ran with it. We were like, okay, now we.
Oh, okay.
Now
So
we
just
take
to be
the
clear,
education.
so is your position when there's a discrepancy and this discrepancy negatively impacts women in some conceivable way, or there's less representation of women in a field or in some beneficial metric, that's evidence of sexism, patriarchy, oppression. But when men are either overrepresented in a negative component or underrepresented in like a positive sense, then that's just not sexism, not oppression.
No, oppression is when it's forced against somebody, and it's like.
What's forced?
Or it's like it's stated like they're not allowed to do this, or you can't do that, or not allowing somebody to be.
Yeah, women have been allowed to go to these.
And that's why now we're doing so great.
You really?
Like
You
a lot
are?
of women. He just said 60% of women
But
are
that
going
don't, just because you in school don't mean you're doing great. There's women that
That's the
graduated.
thing that is great though.
Damien,
But
pull up
don't
the Discord,
statistics
please.
show that like women graduate more than men and women are more
I know
educated than
dudes with a
men?
CDL and a
But I'm
jacket.
talking about I'm talking about demographics, not just knowing one person.
Infographics.
But what I'm saying is
Demographics.
this: graduating doesn't equate to success.
It's
I know
success,
people
But it's
who have.
success to some people.
Yeah.
It depends on what you went to
It's not-
school
that's not
for.
what
If you go to school for a bachelor's degree in African American studies, you're gonna make less money than a dude with a GED and a CDL. So women leaning on getting a degree, to me, speaks to a participation trophy. You judge a tree by the fruit it bears. If you got a degree and you making 100,000, great. But if you don't got a degree and you're making 100,000, that's great too. So getting a degree doesn't mean anything if it hasn't propelled your life.
It's another topic though.
And
Damien,
most
can
women
you pull
get
up-
degrees and don't
Damien,
propel
can you
their life.
pull up the Discord? You're gonna click on the first college one. All right. Percentage of U.S. population who have completed 4 years of college or more from 1940 to 2021. So that the change occurred. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on.
Looks like it's going.
Oh, who have completed. Okay, so this isn't like on a yearly basis. This is like in totality. So it's counting people who graduated in like 1940. There's a different graph that'll indicate starting in 1980, there were more women starting in about 1980 that started going to college than men. Pull up the next graph. You can just use the arrows. U.S. college degrees by gender. So female 58, male 41. Next. This is enrollment. So looking at 2014 is the most recent one for this one. 7.5 million males, 2 million more females. Back in 2014, that number's even higher, or there's a bigger difference. Massive. U.S. college. U.S. college enrollment by gender. So yeah, you do see the flip in 1980. This is on a yearly basis. Next. Men and women study different things. This is kind of important. Next. Total number of students. Oh, this is for the local university, UCSB. Women, 61. I think it's the local university. 61% here in Santa Barbara, 39% men. Next. Percentage of all college degrees, 1980. Yeah, 1981 was the switch. Next.
Women have gone to show to done better in school than men.
And this is for the University of California system, UC. So this is the gender ratios. Blue is male, red is female, with the exception of the University of California, Santa Cruz. There's also UCSD also slightly more, but you have pretty big discrepancies there. So Education, I mean, women are doing fine when it comes to education.
Do you want to talk about body rights?
Huh?
Do you want to talk about our rights and the laws being put against?
Sure,
our
let's
body?
talk. Yeah. What right
That's
does a
another
man
one.
have?
Well,
yeah.
can I just very quickly also tell you that women have always conventionally done better academically than men since we've been keeping tabs on it since the late 1700s. That has been the case.
Yeah.
They've always academically done better. But let me explain to you why that is. It's because right now, about 90% of women who are in women's studies get A's, right? But if you move them into like a mathematic pursuit or something like this, it drops down to about 45% who get A's. So essentially, when you're talking about soft sciences, psychology, sociology, the humanities, things like this, these are all arts degrees, and so it's far easier to get graded well inside of those types of degrees. Whereas if you're in a pursuit which requires some type of actual scientific rigorism, it's much more difficult. And so that's why you see a lot of that discrepancy.